To our esteemed magisterial lecturer, Dr. Daryl Roy Timontibon, and to our course professor and facilitator, fellow scholars, good evening. Today we will be embarking on a journey through time and explore the remarkable impact of science and technology in our country during the American regime. As we prepare to delve into this interesting narrative, allow me to introduce to you first the members of the Group 3, Sir John Patrick Lazaro, Ma'am Janice May Antoliao, Ma'am Marisa Baino, and yours truly, Jennifer S. Catalunya. Group 3 will discuss on the following objectives. Number 1, trace the evolution of science and technology in our country during the American colonial period and identify key developments. Second, analyze the impact of American colonial policies on the growth of scientific knowledge and its influence in the socio-economic and cultural landscape. Dr. Kawili highlighted in her paper the development of science and technology in the Philippines during the American colonial period was actually a multifaceted process. It is influenced by a confluence of many factors. The interaction between geography, trade, economic policies, education, and culture fostered an environment where scientific progress could flourish and contribute to the development of science and technology in the Philippines. But instead of a simple chronology, it delves into the many influences that have molded the current state of science and technology in our country now. She also added that science is about understanding and explaining the natural laws through research, leading to the new formation of knowledge. Technology, on the other hand, involves systematic knowledge of industrial arts and its practical application, encompassing knowledge and utilization through different techniques. When we talk about science and technology in our country during the American regime, this was actually made possible by the government's simultaneous encouragement and support for a comprehensive public education system, granting of scholarships for higher education in science and engineering, including the funding of scientific research agencies and the different establishment of science-based public services. What you are actually seeing now is the timeline of the science and technology in our country way back in 1898 until 1935. Let's dive right in. In 1898, the American colonial authorities established the Bureau of Health, and this marked a pivotal moment in the country's public health history because the Bureau of Health was responsible for the many aspects of healthcare, of sanitation, disease control, working to improve the public health standards in the country. It is also important to note this following important events during the 1900s, wherein the Bureau of Mines and Bureau of Forestry was changed to the Bureau of Forestry and was placed under the newly created Department of Interior by the virtue of Act number 222. During the 1901, the Philippine Commission acted as the executive and legislative body for the country and promulgated Act number 74, creating a Department of Public Instructions in the Philippines. And this act provided the following important details. Number 1, establishment of schools that give primary education with English as the medium of instruction. And second, it sets up the Philippine Normal School to train Filipino teachers. To continue, still in 1901, there are still another important events to consider, like Manila Trade School was open and then introduced science and vocational education. The Bureau of Public Works was created, and the Americans found that there needed to be more competent Filipino engineers. Laboratorio Municipal was absorbed by the Bureau of Government, laboratories created by the Philippine Commission, and last we have the Weather Bureau, and it was organized and operated along with the Bureau of Agriculture.
The American colonial government encouraged young men and women to get higher professional education in U.S. colleges, sending 135 boys and girls of high school age to be educated as teachers, engineers, doctors, and lawyers. They are also known as pensionados. With this Pensionado Act 854 in 1903, established scholarship program for Filipinos to attend school in the United States of America. Three highlights that happened in 1905. The Philippine medical schools were opened and were followed by other professional and technical schools and were later absorbed in the University of the Philippines. The Bureau of Coast and Geodetic Survey was organized and operated. The Bureau of Government Laboratories was reorganized and renamed and became the Bureau of Science and remained the principal government research establishment until World War II. In 1906, the first attempt to regulate private schools through the corporate law, which is also known as the Act Number 959, enacted by the Philippine Commission. And also, at this year, 1906, Philippine Journal of Science published works done in the local laboratories and also scientific developments abroad, which have relevance to the country's problems.
June 18, 1908, the University of the Philippines was created by the Act of the Philippine Legislature. The first colleges opened was the College of Agriculture in Los Baños, Laguna. And during this time, free trade relations were established between the US and the Philippines. Proposals from professional societies for the creation of National Medical Research Council was so intense this year in 1927. So, with the Act in 1933, creating the National Research Council of the Philippine Islands, or NRCP, passed by the Philippine legislature. The American colonization of the Philippines benefited the country in various ways, particularly by establishing a universal formal education system which helped increase the amount of Filipinos working in business, education, and government sector. So that's it about the American regime, and I do hope you learned something from Group 3. Good day.
Hello, everyone. To continue with our discussions, in 1910, the colleges of liberal arts, engineering, and veterinary medicine was also opened in the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna. A year after, that was 1911, the College of Law was also established in UP Los Baños, where the university had an enrollment of 1,400 students. 4 years later, its enrollment had almost doubled to 2,398. In 1917, Act Number 2076, referred to as Private School Act, was enacted by the Philippine legislature. The act recognized private school as educational institutions and not commercial ventures. It required the Secretary of Public Instruction to maintain a general standard of efficiency in all private schools and colleges so that they will furnish adequate instruction to the public. In 1921, the Rockefeller Foundation provided for six fellowships for qualified Filipinos in the United States and Europe, two each in the fields of public health, that is preventive medicine, public health laboratory work, and teacher training in nursing and education. It also greatly aided in the establishment and development of the Graduate School of Public Health and Hygiene in the University of the Philippines. A survey of the educational system was authorized, headed by Paul Monroe, who made a comprehensive investigation of all public and private institutions of learning in our country. It was found out that the private colleges and universities have woefully inadequate equipment and the laboratories for the teaching of science are but a caricature of the real thing. The next slide will be discussed to us by Sir John Patrick Lazar. Sinadahintay.
Tracing the history of science and technology in the Philippines during the American regime, particularly in the sector of education, is crucial for understanding the foundations of the modern educational system and its enduring impact on the country. It helps contextualize the development of scientific knowledge and technological advancements, reflecting the evolving influence of the American colonialism in education and fostering a greater appreciation of the Philippines' educational heritage.